So I come across this from fellow YouTube buddy Resisting the Lies with the title So Progressive. And straight off the bat, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, the first thing you hear is, well, just before we stop for lunch or, think about what you're hearing here.
Nip off to lunch or a fringe. We do have two.
Lunch or a fringe. Now, even that, you could look into that a bit more. Lunch or a fringe meeting? Is that the more motivated out of, what's involved in this, Because what people don't get is the level of activism. Much of it is well funded. And most people are so caught up on their day to day that they're not seeing what's going on supposedly in their name in their own countries.
Other resolutions. Resolution 6, supporting Scotland's rural and island communities.
Now think about this. Supporting Scotland's rural and island communities. I can promise you, I'm old enough to remember, my God, Argyll. Oh, as an example. Holy shit. To be up there in the 80s. I mean, I lived not that far out of Edinburgh, and believe me, in the 80s, Edinburgh was someplace, I can assure you. But I promise you, it wasn't a patch on the characters in places like Argyll. And I realised even then, as a teenager in the late 80s, blah, 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 well, mid to late 80s, and beyond, up until about, 91, something like that. Yeah. It was some of the most phenomenal experiences in my life. Without a doubt, the characters, the people. Yeah, there was quite a lot of fairly wealthy people up in places like that, because even then, you've got to have some serious dosh to be able to have a decent-sized house in the middle of bloody nowhere and pay way over the odds to hear it and all the rest of it, yeah? But by God, what most people are never talking about, and especially the SNP, is the astounding scenery. Seriously, yeah? I mean, you could meet possibly some of the wealthiest people that may have some phenomenal place in London, but they had places in Scotland. Absolutely, because of the scenery, the characters, and the people. And all of a sudden, within the SNP, is it all of a sudden? But, over a period of, essentially decades, all of a sudden, I apologise. But in the big scheme of things, all of a sudden, they have a problem. They have problems with ferries and so many other things and all the rest, and it's over budget and blah, blah, blah. I look at the Western Isles, which was, I remember, I've said it before, about 88, I'm in a hotel just up from Craignure. And this place, that night, which had an airfield, by the way, was it Glenforsa? Whatever. It had Dave Gilmour from Pink Floyd. Just decided he was going to fly in there and spend the night. And there was some charity thing going on, and he said, well, like if it helps, I'll offer a wee free, a flight, on, it was some sort of, I think it was some Mustang, Second World War fight, whatever, but this is Dave Gilmour. Seriously, as an example, that was one of many experiences in places like Argyll. They were never struggling for custom until in the last few decades. Honestly, it's terrible. Supporting Scotland's rural and island communities.
Cards against this resolution. Can I put it to you that we pass this resolution by acclaim?
They sound like communists, don't they?
And similarly, colleagues, with Resolution 7, renewal of the New Scots Refugees.
The New Scots Refugees. So in the last few decades, some of the most phenomenal areas of Scotland have been vastly under attack, I would certainly suggest. Yeah. And to the point that locals, you know, the young want to be elsewhere because there's no bloody hope for them, and by design. Whereas it never used to be a thing. People were like going out their way to be in these places, yeah, and spending money, yeah.
Integration strategy. There are no.
So, I mean, I remember it's a few years ago now. I hang out with possibly Resisting the Lies, and I said people don't get it. When they see diversity, it's every island in Scotland. Like, it's going to shit. The only solution is to have people essentially from failed states, because that's what we're dealing with. Yeah, how much have people not been thinking about things like that? I mean, if you're talking about the absolute destruction of the West, did you hear what this individual had said? And the solution is there in front of you. Well, everywhere. I mean, believe me, everywhere has to be diversified. Seriously. Essentially from failed states. If this is not a deliberate destruction of the West to bring in a new world order, I don't know what. And I'll speak to you soon.